All right, and we are back. Season 1, Episode 1. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm very excited for
I can
this.
tell you are excited. So it's been kind of a good week. We got the intro episode out.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys check that out.
Hopefully everybody saw that.
Get a feel of what we're all about, because I think we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah, today's Episode 1, so yeah. I know have a couple of topics we're going to kind of touch on. I think Kyle had a couple stories that he wanted to talk about, and I think
we can kind of just throw it into an intro and kind of discuss what we're going to be talking about today.
I think so.
Take off from there, my man.
So I'm going to touch on first ocean acidification. Acid. Yes, acid. So basically what ocean acidification is when the pH level of the ocean is dropping because of the levels of CO2 in the atmosphere, right? So what's happening is there's little critters. I'm going to dumb this down for you a little bit here because I know.
You dumb it down for me?
Yeah, for you.
Oh, you're so kind.
I know, you're welcome.
You can use big words, just don't use complicated words.
Big words, big complicated words. Okay, anyways. So there's these little things called diatoms, and basically these diatoms suck up CO2 and produce oxygen, just like a tree.
Like a tree.
Like a tree.
Yeah, see?
They're like little microscopic trees.
I'm picking up on it.
Okay, you're picking up what I'm throwing down?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So these little microscopic trees, right? They suck up all this CO2. Dumbing it down for you.
Yeah, I just love the microscopic.
They suck up all this CO2, and what they do is they produce a shell, basically, right? And this shell is made of silica. So the silica shell basically protects them from like predators and stuff like that, because they really don't move around on their own.
Just melting away into the earth.
What do you mean?
So are these actual little critters? Okay.
Yeah, they're little like microorganisms.
Okay, I'm thinking of it more of like an algae where it can just straight like almost like melt away, like something like a plasmic form.
Yeah,
but they actually have like appendages and like.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're very small. I'll put a picture of them so everybody who's watching on YouTube can see.
There we go.
What we're talking about here.
YouTube, be on my side with this. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Anyways, so there's these little microorganisms, right? And they're basically making their shell out of silica. Mm-hmm. Now, to do that, they need CO2, right? Now, the issue is when this ocean is getting more acidic, basically, what's happening is that silica is becoming harder and harder to create. So normally what they'll do, their normal lifespan, right? So they're sitting at the top of the water. They soak up the oxygen or the CO2, excuse me.
Wow, don't want to mix it up.
Produce the oxygen.
Suffocating us all.
Create this silica shell. And then when they die, they'll sink down to the bottom of the ocean. When they sink down to the bottom of the ocean, they release that CO2 and it stays down there. It kind of like traps it basically at the bottom of the ocean.
I've heard of issues and other things of giant pockets of CO2
coming
up. And you'll see it like, I'm sure NASA has like crazy satellites that can read that. And you'll see just like a giant spike. And they're just like.
Yeah. So anyways, so they'll go down there and they'll get trapped. Now, the issue with the pH level, the ocean acidification, is they can't create that silica. So that shell is getting thinner and thinner. So now what's happening?
They basically don't have their little armor.
Yeah. But what happens is when they die, instead of having that extra weight of the silica that pulls them down to the bottom of the ocean,
they sit at the surface.
They're going to sit at the surface.
And then rotting away.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this isn't technically a current issue. It's a future issue. So
if temperatures continue to rise. And
yeah. So this article I found, it's on sciencenews.com for anybody that wants to look at it, by Carolyn Gramlin, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Yes, thank you, Carolyn. Anyways, she talks about a research project that the University of Technology out of Sydney did. And they basically took a bunch of tanks of water, put a bunch of different types of diatoms in there, and then changed the pH levels to look at the life cycle of the diatoms.
Which each one would have.
And briefly, there's more information on this article. If you're interested, you can go and look at it. I'll put the link in the description or the show notes. But anyways, so briefly, they found that the silica shell is basically breaking down at levels of 7.84, which is pretty normal. The normal level is 8.1. They're expecting it to be to 7.8 by 2100. So it's a little bit higher than that. So like 2080-ish. They're basically assuming that the shells are going to start breaking down and getting thinner. So not looking good on that front.
No. I mean, I don't think anything really. Have we seen any positive increase in any ocean stuff going on? Not really. I mean, there's like small steps.
I did just read something about like something in Australia on the Great Barrier Reef. They found like a section that still looks like really nice or something like that.
The Great Barrier Reef, for anyone who's wondering, I think a lot of people have seen that the Great Barrier Reef is dead and blah, blah. It's not dead. It is beyond, it'll never get to the point where it's at now. It is beyond fully becoming what it was at this point. It's just going to get worse for it. Yeah, our kids won't have it and stuff like that, but it's not fully dead yet. So we can stop it, but we can't save it at this point, is what they announced.
Yeah.
And I think a few of us might have seen that really great documentary on Netflix where, every year we're losing 50% of the Earth's coral at that time. The hard stony corals at the time that were, every year is another 50% of that, which is just, it's just astronomical. I mean, the rate that this is happening is just it's not normal. Obviously.
No.
And the fact that people can deny this and say that this is a normal thing, the Earth is warming up, we're not going into an ice age anymore. Well, yeah, we're still in an ice age. We have ice caps. That's an ice age.
Right.
The thing is the rate that this ice age is depleting and our caps are going is a lot faster. And it's recorded. There's data to support it, and people are still denying it. And that's the issue, is people, they know about it and they're being educated about it, but it's not affecting their daily life, so they don't give a shit, right? I mean, we discuss, unless it affects you directly, you're not going to have an effect on it. It's not going to affect you. It's just like savings. If you have to save for something in a month, you're going to get on it, you're going to do it. But when you tell a 25-year-old to start investing into a 401k, they're going to be like, well, why? I'm 25. That's 70, not 70, but 50 years from now. Why would I invest in that? That's how people are looking at the planet, right? They're seeing it as this future problem and, stuff's happening, but it's not directly affecting them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like the thing with the diatoms, right? It's like by the year 2100, it's going to be a problem. Well, nobody's looking that far into the future. They're like, well, it's fine right now then, right?
Right.
It's not like, oh, well, we need to plan ahead. It's fine in my life, basically. So why worry about it? Which sucks because it's our kids and their kids that are going to suffer.
Yeah. And I think what's hard is like, us being, even in here in Ventura County, and been diving for, let's just call it 10 years, as easy it is. I can't do the exact math. But we can see the impact of it. I mean, it's straight, our kelp beds are getting a lot smaller than when I first started diving in like 2013.
Yeah.
You can straight see the effects. I mean, and I see way more garbage on the beaches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every day I see something in the news or in a newspaper about more needles on the beach. And it's just like,
yeah.
So
which is scary.
Yeah. That's like a worst nightmare right there. So we need to figure out, like, as humanity and as especially the United States being a powerhouse that it is like something to control stuff going into the ocean, stuff to control pollution, not just in garbage, but in emissions, in gases and stuff like that. And people don't. I think people really need to open up their eyes to the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Again, like it just comes to, it's not affecting their daily lives that they know of. And I think, if someone did that cigarette thing, where they put the cotton balls in the thing and smoke a bunch of cigarettes and they take it out and it's literally like tar. If they still did that with their engine, I guarantee if they did that with the exhaust of their car, they would be like, okay. I guarantee after maybe 5 minutes, it would probably show something pretty nasty.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to look into and kind of see.
I mean,
especially even old cars to newer cars.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the newer cars are better, but how much better?
Well, yeah, and if you factor that to what's the population of California? Yeah. And we have some of the strictest emission laws, but we still also have the most amount of smog than any other state.
Right. Here's that article that I was talking about the Great Barrier Reef coming back. So it's not coming back per se, but it's more of, it has the possibility of coming back. So they're basically saying that
it has the
recovery is still possible.
But we have to take steps to do that. It's not going to do it on its own.
Exactly.
We need to, as humans, we need to do something about it. And that's the issue, is there's only a small number of people that are, and it's upsetting. Yeah. And it's even, we can only do as much as each individual, I guess you could say, like, household is. And it's, I know you and I take measures to go against it and do it, and, carpooling and stuff. Yeah, the small stuff, it's all going to help if we all get on board. And we're not here to preach like we need to do this and like we need to change, because we don't have that kind of power. We don't have that. But
no, but every individual, if they do their part, I mean, it'll help everything.
I think
any small thing you can do will help.
Right. I think the hard part is a lot of people are unwilling, Or not unwilling. I think they're lazy.
I don't think either. I think it's more of like well, I'm only one person. Why would I do it? Like, because I'm not going to change anything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with like going and voting, right? Like, well, I'm only one person. Why does it matter if I go and vote?
Yeah.
It's that mindset of being a very small number in the general population of the planet, basically. Right. I think that's kind of the mindset that I get just from talking to people. It's kind of like maybe somebody else will do it.
Right.
Maybe some genius will come in and fix everything without us even trying. Like,
yeah. I mean, we have a few people that, it was just recently that Amazon announced that they're going to do 100,000 all electric delivery vans by 2021.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was really cool. But again, it's, you look at it from this aspect of, they're really trying, but it's going to take those bigger companies doing more than just 100,000 of their vehicles. I mean, you've got Jeff Bezos and you've got Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, these massive players in the game of economy, worth trillions of dollars together in assets and money. And, they do this small number, which that 100,000 electric vehicles is what amount of Tesla's sales, probably like a fraction, right? And it's, it's a start, which is great. We love to see it. Yeah. But it's...
The other thing that gets me too, and I don't know enough about electric cars to kind of talk about this, but what do they do with the batteries? Aren't the batteries just as bad as emissions? I mean...
I think we're just beginning to see that. I haven't seen any articles. I'm going to start to do research into it because it's, hybrids didn't start becoming extremely popular, or full electric didn't start becoming very popular until, the early 21st century, which was, we're still in it, but I'm talking like, I don't know, like we're just going to guess like 2005, 2006. It's been less than.
So they haven't started to die yet, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're just now starting to kind of go and be like, oh,
exactly. You're
crap,
still,
what
I
are we
still
doing with
see
these?
plenty of first gen Priuses on the road. So it's like,
Got it.
And it's great to have a hybrid and stuff like that, but you bring up that very valid point.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do with them? I mean,
it's lithium.
It's a lot of batteries.
It's a lot of battery.
And
it's a lot of
not,
battery acid just sitting in there. Like,
yeah. And I know Tesla is working on solar panels to charge the car. So that's kind of getting away from the whole like, well, we're just using coal to power these electric vehicles. Like, what's the point? So at least there is a process being done to avoid that part. But as far as the disposing goes, it's like you can't reuse batteries, right? And once they're dead, they're pretty much done.
Right.
So where do they go? Landfills?
I mean, I would assume there's probably some form of recycling because those are very precious metals. But at the same time, they've got to be contaminated with something.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, they have to be toxic at least.
Yeah, at the very minimum. I mean,
interesting. Yeah, I'm curious about that. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be happening in the next couple of years because, I mean, even I had a hybrid in 2012. It's like that was even pushing its limits in 2019.
Right.
So it's...
What do they do with normal car batteries? Like normal gasoline car batteries,
I'm not entirely sure. Everyone just takes them to Battery Plus, and then Battery Plus takes it behind the counter and says, bye. There it goes. And everyone's like, I did my part. I didn't throw it in the trash.
Right.
But there's still a huge percentage of that too. I mean, even at my work, I went in the back there and there was literally probably like 20 gallons of just transmission fluid just in a plastic tote, not even in like in a box, not even absorbed. And no joke. And I was like, okay. So I left it back there and I was going to do something with it that same day. And I go back there probably 2 hours later. Dumpster truck had already come and the guy literally just tipped the stuff on the ground and threw away the bins and went away and left 20 gallons of transmission fluid
all over the floor.
On the floor.
Oh God.
On behind the store. And it was literally just right over a drain. And I'm like, and
oh man.
So, and it's just,
see, that's one of those cases where it's like one person can change something pretty big.
Yeah. That was 20 gallons of transmission
fluid. It's
fluid.
like, come on. Like I get that you want to get your job done and you want to go home and probably hang out with your family and see your kids, but it's like your kids aren't going to have anywhere to live.
Yeah, take an extra 5 minutes. Take an extra 5 minutes. Scoot it to the side. Like I'm pretty sure I even left a note on it that said like coming back or like leave this here, don't touch.
Don't take it.
Yeah, no, the dude literally just tipped him right over and there's just red transmission fluid everywhere. I was like, great.
Just all over the parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's terrible.
And it's literally, I just see it dripping down the drain. And I'm like, great, that's awesome. And of course, the drain has the little, like, drains to creek.
Drains to creek or ocean or whatever it says. Yeah,
exactly.
Great. That's even better.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it all does, but ugh.
Yeah, that's the icing on the cake with that one.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the gluttony that is,
Yeah, it's just people just don't think. They just don't think about the overall concept. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting to see people's thoughts and actions and how people will say a lot of stuff.
Could you justify lack of thoughts and just action?
Well, no, but I mean, like, it's interesting talking to people or seeing people do stuff, and it's like they might talk about it a lot, but then they go and they actually don't really do it.
Sounds like a lot of people I know in politics.
Don't say the P word. The P word is banned on this podcast.
Yeah, okay.
There is no P talk. P talk.
P talk.
P talk. Anyways.
P talk.
Stop it. Anyways, so yeah.
Can we move into more positive stuff, please?
Yes,
This is, we'll bring up
see.
pollution more often, but I think we just wanted to start there because it's, it's just been weighing on us. It's good to get some off it out of there.
Yeah, it's and it's like,
just do your part. Recycle. Take off the caps of the things. Recycle. Freaking don't spill gas on the ground. Wipe shit up.
It's the small stuff. Everything that you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, and even while you're sleeping, it's
use reusable water bottles. Carpool.
Just think about the effects that individual thing that you're doing is going to have in 100 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about how it's going to affect the acid in the ocean and lower the acidification of the ocean, or raise the acidification of the ocean.
Well, I think it's just like if you think of something the way you do it in a form of time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
if you take 5 minutes of time in your day, right, to maybe read or take a breath and sit back and decompress, 5 minutes a day, and that makes you feel better. If you take 5 minutes a day to turn off your lights, right, 5 times 7 is 35. 35 minutes a week. 35 times 52 weeks in a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're looking at crazy amounts of hours that aren't being used, and crazy amount of hours that you can be doing something else with. So look at it in a time frame. Like that's a huge thing, is like maybe look at one water bottle that you don't use a day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's if you don't use one water bottle a day, you personally, that's 365 water bottles that are each about 10 inches long. You just took out 3 football fields length of, water bottles. Okay, not 3 football fields. It's 100 feet, not 100 yards. My bad. Bad math. It's late. But just, look at it that way. It's, if one thing a day.
Yeah. It's
going to help.
Small things. Everybody matters. Every small thing
and
you
talk
do
about
matters.
It.
And that's the big concept.
And talk about it. Like the more we talk about it and the more it's brought up in common stuff, the more it's going to be pressed onto people. Like I can't tell you, it's been like 3 weeks since the fires in Australia, and it's already just like gone. It's like off the map. No one's even talking about it anymore. And they're still
totally
going.
True. Yeah,
and
they're still
they're
going.
flooding and stuff like
that's
that. And
crazy.
It's just gone. It's a fad. That's what's crazy to me. Positivity. Go.
Positivity. I read it somewhere. I saw it real quick, and I was trying to find it again. Apparently, sea turtles are on the rise again.
That's good.
They're coming back. The Pacific ones, so like
I've seen
Hawaii,
a few,
the Pacific Islands area.
I've seen a few off of our shore before, off of County Line.
Yeah, that's true. We have. Huh?
Yeah, County Line. You've got the big drop off. It jumps from like 30 foot down to like 120 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But we see the sharks there too. But yeah, no, I've seen a big old sea turtle there.
Yeah, during the summer, I remember that.
Yeah, he's got a big old tracker in the back there. It's pretty cool to see.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's got a big old like transmitter.
I wonder who's tracking him. It'd be interesting to get a hold of that research and kind of see where he's.
It's probably fishing game.
Where he's moving.
Yeah.
I mean, just out of curiosity,
it's got to be someone local. They do the mountain lions out here
because they don't normally come up. Usually, it's too cold.
Yeah, I was at the surface, so he was probably at like 50 foot.
Huh?
Because I just barely saw him, and I was just like, ah.
Right. Interesting. But yeah, I thought that was cool. So sea turtles are slowly, I think, coming back. The way that they were finding them was actually kind of funny. They would have a research boat. And then they'd put 2 divers in the water, and they'd tie ropes to each side of the boat on these like pole things. And they literally would drag the divers through the water, like over the top of the reef, and just do like a tracking pattern back and forth.
Oh, to do a count?
Yeah, but wouldn't that be awesome?
Like a grid pattern, you're just sitting there?
Yeah,
were they tanked up or were they lined to the...
No, they were tanked up. But they were just hanging onto this rope, like just cruising over the reef looking for turtles.
That's hilarious.
Like, talk about an awesome job, right?
Yeah, no, seriously.
That'd be so cool.
We've definitely done that, but not that safely or well thought out on the side of a boat. But
that is true. That is true.
Some young researcher was like, just hang me off the side of the boat and we'll count the turtles. And everyone's just like, dude, what are you talking about, David? Like
we have drones, man, now.
Yeah. And he's just like, no, just do it. Hang me on the side of the boat. That's great, man. How do we get apart? Awesome? How do we get on top of that? Like,
I don't know. We should start doing it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. So that's I guess a little bit of good news there. We haven't quite killed all the sea turtles.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, yeah. Anyways, let's see. What else did you have to talk about? Any good topics?
No, I think we just wanted to bring up. Basically, started out with conservation, and I guess another big one is like fishing industries. It's just, I mean, that's a big one that we touched on at the very beginning. Was how our view of conservation of fish is simple as we like to quote unquote try to be watermen, but living off the land in Southern California in a metropolis is pretty difficult.
Yeah, I mean.
So
it's
but with spearfishing, like we mentioned before, we like to take very few fish as we can, and you target a very specific thing when you go down there, and there's no bycatch. And it was literally, I was just watching something on YouTube, and it was like the deconstruction of a ship, and they went down into like the ballast tanks. I mean, even in these ballast tanks, there's just like tons of fish and dead shit.
Oh, really? They were diving in the ship.
No. They pulled it out. They literally just pulled it out. It had been out of the water for 4 hours, and they were draining the ballast tanks because they were doing a bunch of repairs on it. And this is a big old ferry from the UK to like France, that kind of thing. And full on, I mean, there's literally everything you can imagine inside these ballast tanks.
So it was a working boat.
It was a working boat. They were just doing repairs on it. It was about 20 years old, something like that.
How did fish get in, I guess?
And they had grates, right? But the gap in between the grates was probably like 2 or 3 inches. So it's like, that's still a good amount of stuff that can get in there, right?
Dang, so what happens when they turn the pumps on?
They were huge. I mean, these dudes are just scooping out scum. But at the same time, it's like, we're polluting the waters with what people think is just trash. But you've brought it up multiple times. I mean, and there's noise pollution. Noise pollution is a huge thing. And there was something about like, I think it was cod. Up north, there was noise pollution, like scaring them away from their like hatchery grounds. Oh yeah, I can only imagine.
And they were looking at declining numbers because they weren't breeding basically.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I mean, especially down here with white sea bass, we have to put hatcheries out in our
in the
harbors and stuff like that, and that's still
that was a lot of fishing that got rid of that, but. Or that caused that, but
but the noise
pollution is huge.
Long lining,
even for the whales down here, the noise pollution is huge because we have for anybody that doesn't know, so the Channel Islands are local islands. It's a group of islands that are kind of 12 miles off the coast ish.
Yeah,
the ones that we go to.
It depends on which one you go to.
The northern Channel Islands, I guess, would be the way to say that. But anyways, the shipping boats or shipping ships.
Shipping ships.
They go in between the coast and the islands, and so they're coming through this channel here, and that's like the number one path for whales to get from the south to the north.
Right.
So it's like it really affects their swimming patterns and their their lives.
We go out there often and we see whales, but I can only imagine what it was like 20, 30 years ago. How many whales you'd be seeing out there?
Yeah.
And what's, something about Ventura County where we're at too, we have 2 military bases.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Oxnard Harbor, which is like the number one almost for imports. I mean, you've got Jag, BMW, all dumping right into there with their giant freighters. And then we've got, just down the way is Long Beach. So, I mean, and you drive 30 minutes down the road to Malibu or into LA and Santa Monica, and you can see the shipping lanes, and you just see massive tankers. And it's just a line of them. You just see the line of them. And it's just like, and even when we dive, going back to the noise pollution,
you can hear it when we're diving.
Yep. You can hear it, and you see videos of people online and YouTubers diving where they're diving in Australia, and all you hear is whale sounds.
Yeah.
Well, what we hear is just like
Yeah, that's true. That is totally true.
Like, what is that? Like, so
just
maybe
boats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it like that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, I think we should save that one, conservation, maybe some fishing for the next episode here.
Yeah.
Now we'll wrap it up here.
I would say so.
Yeah. Well. That's episode 1.
Episode 1. Yeah.
Thanks for coming along.
Keeping it short and sweet, I think, is the goal here.
Yeah, we want to keep it short, sweet. We'll get some episodes.
We know Kyle gets a little bit boring, so we don't want to keep you guys too long.
Yeah, I just tend to drone on.
He's a little monotone.
Right on, guys. Well, again, I'm Kyle from the Kelp Ed,
and I'm Nick,
and we'll catch you guys later.
See you guys.